My first few hours in Bolivia were spent in a graveyard. Pretty emo, right? This fascinating necropolis spreads to over 3 kilometers in size, and some of its tombs are built up so high that they resemble small apartment blocks. It's the epitome of a ghost town. La Paz is a strange city. At an altitude of 3,640 meters, it is the highest administrative capital city in the world. It also seems to have a fascination with death. And for good reason. Death Road kills on average 300 people per year, but thankfully, I was not one of them. I'd been excited about Bolivia since I first began researching it months prior to my trip, but since I had succumbed to the temptation to visit Colombia, new time constraints meant that I only had 2 weeks to visit this weirdly wonderful country. So with no time to waste, I waved goodbye to La Paz and hello to a 16-hour bus journey, all the way to Samaipata, a rural town in the eastern foothills of the Bolivian Andes, home to Ambora National Park and perhaps my favourite hostel in South America, Hostel Serena, which was located conveniently down the road from an animal sanctuary. Knowing that my travel insurance probably wouldn't cover the melting of my heart induced by all the adorableness, I left the Refugio Zoologica and decided to embark on a hike through the cloud forests of Ambora with a local guide who taught us all about the nature and the plants.
Ayahuasca.
Have you ever done it?
Me? No.
I don't know if I had inhaled too much nature or if the continuous string of overnight buses was finally taking a toll on my sanity, but I left Samaipata behind, along with my marbles. So I'm currently in an archaeological park near... Where am I? Shit. I had in fact arrived in Sucre, surrounded by the largest, most diverse collection of dinosaur tracks on the planet. But just like the dinosaurs, I was well and truly wiped out. So I decided to take it easy and spend the next day leisurely strolling around Tarabuca Market, admiring the fruit and some of Tarabuca's resident dinosaurs. Some mixed reviews had sparked my curiosity about my next destination. Potosi, the silver mining capital of Bolivia. I feel like I'm going out for Halloween right now, but in fact, I'm going into the mines. Guys, where are we going?
We're going to the mines!
Going to the mines!
We're going to the mines!
The air thick with dust and tobacco smoke, the haunting boom of the dynamite, and the rapidly narrowing walls all contributed to what was possibly the most claustrophobic hour of my life. I couldn't be more relieved to get to a uni, with the promise of fresh air and a good night's sleep. I'm currently in my hostel in a uni. I've been tossing and turning all night, terrified that I'm not going to be able to book onto the Salt Flats tour, and I'm going to have to stay in this hellhole town. Everyone who's ever considered visiting Bolivia knows about the Uyuni Salt Flats. They are on every traveller's bucket list. So you can imagine the anxiety I had about booking onto a tour. But it turned out to be super easy. And before I knew it, I was cheersing beers and sprinkling fresh sodium on my sandwiches on top of 10 billion tons of salt. Is it working? Is it working? It was a 2-day tour. Day 1 was spent taking lame perspective photos, climbing on abandoned trains and visiting an island dedicated to cactus. You know, I think I'd like the cactus park a lot better if I weren't surrounded by a bunch of pricks. On day 2, there was a lot more land to cover. We were driven past lakes, geysers and rock, the desert sand dancing to the purr of the engine as the white salt turned into pink terrain. It was like landing on another planet, populated with Andean fox and multiple species of flamingo. Thinking about it, that's actually how I'd probably describe Bolivia, a different world.